We have to all agree on one thing, no matter what fan you are of any team, unless if you happen to be a fan of the Indianapolis Colts, because, this transaction probably sucks for you if you're a fan of the Indianapolis Colts. The conclusion of the Julio Jones trade saga is probably the most wholesome trade that I think I've ever seen. You have a situation where A.J. Brown gets to finally play alongside his hero, a man that he literally practiced in his jersey during warmups one time. And, well, today we got a ton of footage of Julio Jones at Tennessee Titans training camp. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. Real quick, do me a favor and sack the like button for the YouTube algorithm. This is our third video in the past 24 hours. Also, bear in mind that I'm giving away a pair of Apple AirPod Maxes. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram at TheFlightMike. I'm going to announce the giveaway winner next week. And now that we got all that out of the way, break! Today, I have a great deal from Underdog Fantasy, the newest place for fantasy sports, brought to you by Mark Cuban, Kevin Durant, and Adam Schefter. If you think fantasy football starts in August, you're dead wrong. There are fantasy football drafts available right now, and Underdog Fantasy is giving you a free $25 with any first-time deposit if you use promo code Mikerophone. That $25 is going to give you a free shot at $3.5 million in prizes, with over $1 million to first place. Underdog has taken all the work out of fantasy football. You only do the best part, the draft. No waivers, no injury concerns, no annoying trade offers from the guy who spilled nachos on your couch last year, and this lets you enjoy draft day all summer long. You've been tuned in here, so you already know what's up around the league and have a huge leg up on the competition, so head over to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their easy-to-use mobile app. Sign up with promo code Mikerophone and you'll get $25 and be one step closer to winning the $1 million prize. They're so confident that you'll love it that if you don't, they'll give you up to $100 back.
It's just, at the end of the day, you want to create a winning culture. However you need to do it to get the job done. My whole career, I've never been a stat guy. Previous years, everybody always asking me, what you thinking you're going to do? What's your prediction? Things like that. I've never been a stat guy. I'm a team guy. I'm just excited to be a part of the organization, and whatever they need from me to do, I'm willing to do it and play my role and play at a high level.
Mike check 1212. What's going on, everybody? About a week ago, I came out here with an absolutely game-changing trade announcement after weeks and weeks of speculation as to where Julio Jones might go, after he literally appeared on Skip and Shannon Undisputed on a phone call saying that he wanted out of Atlanta, after the Atlanta Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts and could have potentially had a remarkable offense with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. Julio Jones was officially traded to the Tennessee Titans. And this is without a doubt one of the most wholesome stories in all of football, because one of the people that notoriously idolizes Julio Jones is A.J. Brown. And while I could understand the Atlanta Falcons or Falcons fans being disappointed that Julio Jones is officially gone, you have to admit the Atlanta Falcons got one hell of a return in return for a 31-year-old wide receiver, which also could bring up some concerns as well. But getting a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick in 2023 is a sweet return for a player that has already played for your franchise for about a decade. And if you remember, if you guys watched that trade video, one of the biggest concerns that I had for Julio Jones, and again, I've been wrong plenty of times, bear in mind, but this is one of those things where I refer to football history, I bring it to your attention, and I allow you guys to form your own conclusions, because what I say is a prediction, what I say is an interpretation, and I could be wrong about that interpretation. This next parallel is eerily reminiscent of the parallel I drew of Tom Brady when Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I compared it to when Joe Montana finished his career as a Kansas City Chief. And although I was incorrect about that, I'm sure you guys could understand why I drew that parallel. There were a lot of similarities between the two, only both quarterbacks played in different eras, both quarterbacks are clearly different quarterbacks, and one had significantly more success than the other did. And I'm gonna do the same thing here, and I could be either correct or incorrect. You see, Julio Jones got traded to the Tennessee Titans at the age of 31. after a season where he only played for 9 games. And the concern here is that what if he doesn't have anything left in the tank? If you remember, the Indianapolis Colts swung a home run of a trade, apparently, back when this happened, when they traded for Andre Johnson of the Houston Texans, a man who was considered to be, and still is considered to be, the greatest wide receiver in Houston Texans history, a man that leads the Houston Texans with 64 touchdowns, 13,597 receiving yards, and 170 games played. The Colts traded for him in 2014 after 11 seasons with the Houston Texans, and well, here's how it went. In 2014, his final year with the Houston Texans, Andre Johnson played in 15 games, had just under 1,000 yards, 936 yards receiving, and 85 total receptions. In his first year with Indianapolis, he only had 500 receiving yards, 41 total receptions, and played in 14 games. So clearly it didn't work out. He had one more year with Tennessee before deciding to call it quits for good. Now, that's the comparison I'm making here. That's the worst case scenario that could happen to Julio. And apparently Julio has heard of all these concerns because the man has come out and put the entire media on blast for thinking that this man is washed and doesn't have anything left in the tank. Now, I'm not saying that Julio Jones is washed. I'm saying that that's a possibility, and that's a concern that most teams had about Julio Jones before trading for him. In this instance, Julio Jones played 9 games with the Atlanta Falcons last year, and obviously wasn't fully healthy, something that he admitted himself in the interview that we had. And today we finally got to get a little bit of an eye test because Julio Jones came out and practiced with the Tennessee Titans for the first time. And man, I gotta admit, this guy looks extremely healthy, very explosive, and extremely motivated with a huge chip on his shoulder as well. His cuts are extremely quick. He looks like an extremely physical wide receiver and a huge mountain of a human being. And that's before I bring up the fact that he is going to be a great contribution to that Tennessee Titans locker room, especially because his wide receiver that is playing alongside with him is a man that literally idolizes him. I honestly am looking forward to seeing what goes on between AJ Brown and Julio Jones behind the scenes, probably more than what I'm looking forward to seeing on the field. Either way, whether Julio Jones has a phenomenal year or not remains to be seen. Personally, I think he's going to succeed on the Tennessee Titans. There's just way too many weapons on this team for him not to succeed, alongside with Derrick Henry. But at the very worst, even if he doesn't succeed, it's not like the Tennessee Titans gave up a ton of assets in order to bring him onto the team. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this Julio footage we got today. Aside from that, let me know in the comment section down below who you want me to cover next. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.